Okay, are we ready? Do you want me to start? Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's my pleasure to talk to you today about the major foodborne pathogen in the developed world, Campylobacter. This is only really a small snapshot of the work we've been doing to try and control this bug, and I'm just going to share with you some very new data on this most important bacterium. It's important for everybody to understand that this is not a trivial infection. It infects 1% of the EU each year, and in the UK alone there are 750,000 cases. It has a low infectious dose of less than 100 cells, even in adults, and in the infected people there can be very high temperature, acute abdominal pain and diarrhoea, which in children is often very bloody. It's a very serious disease indeed, and 1% of cases have long-term side effects, which can include reactive arthritis down to neurological symptoms. Elderly people are more at risk, and in the majority of deaths caused by Campylobacter occur in people who are over the age of 65. It's an interesting bug. As you can see, it has a spiral shape, and the photograph on the left shows you an image of an ulcerated colon, and that sort of damage can be long-term and lead to very, very bloody and serious consequences. There are many vehicles, many ways by which people can catch Campylobacter, but contaminated chicken is overwhelmingly the most important. We have been doing some work in the UK trying to determine the risk factors for Campylobacter infection in UK produced chicken, and the data we have are relevant to all the developed world. And what this slide is showing you here are series of tests on a range of farms, looking at every flock they've produced over the course of a year. The green squares are negative flocks, the red squares are positive flocks, and the numbers in the squares give you the indication of the loading of Campylobacter in individual chickens, and the grey squares are where farmers forgot to take the sample. And the question is Campylobacter just a random event? Are farmers unlucky? Is it something that we can control? What do we need to learn about the infection biology of this important organism? And one of the things that has come out of our work recently, and this is a new finding, is that Campylobacter is very strongly related to the health and welfare of chickens. And the data that I'm showing you now were published in the UK in 2005, and what we did here was look at the spectrum of Campylobacter positivity across a major UK company, and we noticed that there were some farmers who were very good at protecting their birds from Campylobacter, and some farmers who found it rather more difficult. And what we're showing you here are comparing two farms. Farmer A, over the course of 1 year, produced only 1.4% positive birds, whereas Farmer B, over the same time scale, using the same chicks, from the same hatchery, on the same diet, had 97% positive birds. And when we looked at the production information on these two farms, we noticed that the farms that had Campylobacter were more likely to see raised mortality during life, more animals were rejected at slaughter, and in two measures of gut health, pockmarks and pododermatitis, as I'm sure you know, these are contact dermatitis of the legs and feet of the animals, and they are associated with diarrhoea. So Campylobacter positive chickens were more likely to have diarrhoea, more likely to have poor gut health, and that has been shown with other studies in other parts of the world. And so we need to understand that this is a changing relationship. Chickens are changing, and the Campylobacter bacteria are evolving. And this organism was once thought to be harmless to chickens, but that is now very much not the case. There is very strong evidence from our work and that of others that bird health, welfare and performance are affected now by Campylobacter. It has a major financial implication for the international poultry industry. The animals get diarrhoea if they have Campylobacter, and also there is major damage to the gut mucosa. In fact, now Campylobacter is behaving in chickens rather like it does in people. And the final slide here just shows you what happens to the gut of certain animals, certain sorts of chickens, if they have Campylobacter. If we just look at the top line of photomicrographs, the one on the left is from the ileum of a chicken that doesn't have Campylobacter. Now chickens, like us, absorb nutrients, absorb water through structures called villi, and in the uninfected chicken, the villi, as you can see, are very long, very slender. There is a very large surface area. If certain strains of Campylobacter infect certain types of chickens, you see the picture that I'm showing you in the middle slide. These animals are the ones that had profound diarrhea, and as you can see, the villi now are much shorter and they fuse together. A different sort of bird, which you'll see on the right, essentially was unaffected by Campylobacter, and whilst the villi have changed, there is little damage to the gut. So these animals, remained well, the other animals became unwell. And it's strongly our view that to control Campylobacter in chickens, you need to better understand gut health and the measures that regulate it, and this is what our work is aimed at. And we have more information for you should you wish to hear it. Thank you. Is that all right? Is that all right?